Patriots fans, buckle up because there's a lot to unpack about what is going on in Foxborough right now. The noise is loud, the critics are talking, and once again, everyone seems ready to say, yeah, the Patriots are bad again. But let's pump the brakes on that take for a second, because there's way more to this story than what the record or a couple of stats might show. Correlation doesn't always mean causation, and if you've actually been watching the games, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The truth is, Maye has been lighting it up. The rookie quarterback has come in with confidence, poise, and a level of composure that you do not often see from a young player stepping into the New England system. He's been slinging it, making plays, keeping drives alive, and even when things break down, you can tell he's figuring things out in real time. Now, yes, he's been hit a lot. You don't even have to check the stats to know he's been spending too much time on the ground. Every time he takes another sack, fans throw their hands up like, what is going on with this offensive line? And look, that frustration is understandable. Nobody wants to see their quarterback constantly picking himself up off the turf. But here's the thing. Maye himself stepped up this week and said something that completely shifted the conversation. He straight up admitted that a good portion of those sacks have been on him. That's right, he owned it. He said he's been holding on to the ball too long, trying to make that extra play, waiting for the perfect read instead of getting rid of it when the pressure comes. And honestly, that's exactly what you want to hear from a young leader. It's rare to see that kind of accountability, especially in a league where quarterbacks can easily deflect blame onto the guys blocking up front. But not Drake. He stood there, gave credit to his offensive line, and told everyone to ease up on the criticism. That's leadership. That's maturity. And that's the kind of attitude that builds trust in a locker room. Because when your quarterback takes ownership of the mistakes and protects his guys publicly, you can feel the respect growing behind the scenes. Now, let's not sugarcoat things. The line still has issues. Some of those blitz pickups have been rough. There have been missed stunts, especially with defenders switching off the edge and collapsing that A-gap way too easily. That's been a consistent problem. But when you break down the tape, you can also see moments where the line actually gives Maye plenty of time. He just doesn't pull the trigger. It's part of the growing process. You can almost feel him thinking, wanting to make the big play instead of taking the check down or throwing it away. And look, we get it. Every competitor wants that highlight moment. But sometimes the smart move isn't the flashiest one. Rolling out, throwing the ball away. It's not sexy football, but it's smart football. And with Tampa Bay coming up next, this realization couldn't have come at a better time. The Buccaneers are no joke on defense. They're one of the top teams in the league when it comes to getting after the quarterback, and you know they're going to throw every exotic blitz they can at him. So, for Drake to come out and acknowledge that he needs to make quicker decisions, that he needs to help his line out, that's huge. It shows growth. It shows awareness. And it shows he's thinking like a veteran, even though he's still learning the ropes. This next game is going to be a big test. You can feel it. If Drake can keep that internal clock running, speed up his release, make the smart throws, and live to fight another down, it's going to change the whole dynamic of this offense. And honestly, it's going to make the offensive line look better too, because half the time perception is everything. You get rid of the ball quicker, the sack numbers drop, and suddenly everyone's saying, hey, maybe the line isn't that bad after all. And that's the thing. This line really isn't terrible. They've improved a ton from last year. There's young talent developing, there's chemistry building, and you can see flashes where everything clicks. They just need consistency. And for a young quarterback, consistency comes with reps, with time, and with trust. When Drake said publicly that he trusts those guys, that he's got their backs, that means something. That's not just media talk. That's culture. That's building something. What I really love about this moment is that it reminds you what kind of leader Maye is becoming. He didn't have to say that. Nobody told him to take the blame. But he did, and that tells you he's not just about stats or headlines. He's about building a winning team. Because leadership isn't just about celebrating when things go right. It's about standing tall when things go wrong and saying, hey, that one's on me. Now, you know the conversation online has been wild. Everyone's got an opinion about what's wrong with this team. But before we pile on the offensive line or call for trades, it's important to recognize that improvement is happening. The Patriots are nowhere near perfect, but they are moving in the right direction. The offense looks more dynamic, The young guys are stepping up, and Drake Maye, despite taking all those hits, is playing with fire. And that stat floating around out there? 15 sacks in the last 11 quarters. Yeah, that's rough. That's a lot of pressure on one guy. But it also puts into perspective why this self-awareness from Maye matters so much. If he can cut that down even a little, if the timing improves, if the rhythm gets cleaner, everything changes. Suddenly you're sustaining drives, you're staying ahead of the chains, and the whole offense starts to breathe. And that's what I think is coming. You can see it building. Drake's not just learning from the hits, he's adapting. You can already tell in his interviews, in his tone, that he understands the game differently now. He's realizing that being a great quarterback isn't just about making the perfect throw. It's about managing the pocket, reading the defense faster, trusting your protection, and knowing when to live for the next play. That's what separates the good ones from the great ones. So, heading into this matchup against the Bucs, expect a more calculated version of Drake Maye. Expect him to step up, move within the pocket smarter, and maybe take what the defense gives him instead of trying to force the big shot every time. It's not about being conservative. It's about being efficient. And if he can find that rhythm early, it could be the start of something really promising. Because look, you can see the potential in this team. You can see the fire in this offense. And even with all the talk, all the noise, all the criticism, there's one thing that stands out above everything else: leadership. Drake Maye isn't running from responsibility. He's owning it. And for a young quarterback in a franchise that's rebuilding its identity, that's everything. It's the foundation. And you can't build a winning culture without it. The Patriots might not be the powerhouse they once were, but they're building something worth watching. It's a work in progress, and it starts with accountability, growth, and a quarterback who's learning faster than anyone expected. So yeah, he's been sacked too many times. Yeah, the offense has been inconsistent. But the mindset shift is happening, and that's how turnarounds begin. When Drake Maye said it's not all on the offensive line, he wasn't just defending his teammates, he was setting the tone. He was showing everyone that this is a team that fights together, learns together, and grows together. And if you've been around football long enough, you know that's the kind of thing that can change a locker room. The kind of thing that can turn tough Sundays into something special. So, as this team gears up for the Buccaneers, there's a lot to be excited about. The stats might not tell the full story, but the leadership sure does. Drake Maye is proving that he's more than just a talented arm. He's the heart of this team right now. And if he keeps showing this kind of growth, this kind of maturity, then maybe, just maybe, the Patriots are a lot closer to turning that corner than people think. Now let's shift gears for a moment, because while the talk around Drake Maye and the offensive line has dominated every discussion in New England, there were also a few roster moves this week that caught everyone's attention. The one that really made some noise online was the Patriots adding Brendan Rice to the practice squad. Yeah, Jerry Rice's son. And as soon as that headline hit, social media lit up with reactions. Some fans were excited, others skeptical, and a few just made jokes about the last name on the jersey. But here's the thing. This move actually says a lot about how this organization operates. It's not about chasing headlines or making flashy trades just to please the fan base. It's about finding pieces that can contribute quietly, filling depth, and preparing for the long run of the season. Now, before anyone jumps to conclusions, this isn't about Brendan stepping in and becoming the next star wideout right away. He's still developing, still finding his rhythm at the professional level, and a practice squad signing is exactly that, a chance to grow within the system. But what it does show is that the Patriots are paying attention to detail. They're looking for players who fit the culture, who want to compete, who bring hunger and drive to that locker room. And if you've seen how this coaching staff operates, you know that's the kind of energy they love to work with. Some fans are saying the Patriots should have gone out and made a big move at wide receiver or added an edge rusher, but that's not always how smart franchises think. Sometimes the best move is the quiet one. The fact that they didn't go crazy chasing a name tells you something. They feel good about where they are right now. They believe in the young talent that's already on the roster, and they're banking on internal growth rather than desperation trades. That's a confident approach. Maybe it frustrates the impatient fans, but that's the kind of patience that builds sustainable success. And honestly, they might be right. Keyshawn Bout has been showing flashes of becoming a legitimate weapon when healthy. You can see the chemistry developing between him and Drake Maye. The timing's getting better, the trust is there, and if Bout can stay on the field, that connection could become a real problem for defenses down the stretch. Beyond that, you've got guys stepping up, rotating in, finding their roles. It's not the most star-studded receiver group in the league, but there's effort and there's growth happening week by week. When you think about it, this roster move with Brendan Rice fits that same mold. It's not about star power. It's about building depth and keeping the competition alive in practice. And anyone who's watched the Patriots over the years knows that this team thrives when everyone has to fight for a spot. It's what keeps them sharp. It's what built the culture to begin with. Now, what really adds a human touch to this story is something that doesn't show up in the transaction report. There's this small moment people keep sharing online, a story from someone who met Jerry Rice years ago. And it kind of sums up why this move feels special in a quiet way. Apparently, Jerry took time to chat, just talk, no autograph, no showmanship, just being genuine. And when you think about his legacy, how much class and work ethic defined him, it makes you root for Brendan even more. Because if he carries even a fraction of that mentality, that same discipline, that same professionalism, he's got a chance to stick around and carve out his own name in this league. And you can bet the coaching staff in New England saw that too. They've always been drawn to players who understand that success in the NFL isn't instant. It's earned through repetition, through doing the small things right, through showing up every single day and treating practice like Sunday. That's exactly what a guy like Brendan Rice brings to the room. So while people online might joke or question it, the real story here is about culture and opportunity. Meanwhile, let's circle back to the bigger picture. Because it's easy to get lost in the details of roster moves and stats, but when you zoom out, there's something different about the energy around this team right now. You can feel a sense of accountability and unity that wasn't there last season. Drake Maye is setting the tone, the young offensive line is learning to fight for each other, and even the depth players, guys like Rice coming in, are feeding off that same energy. Everyone is buying in. And you know what's funny? A few months ago, people were saying New England was headed for another rebuild year with nothing to look forward to. But when you actually watch the games, when you see the adjustments being made week to week, it's obvious that something is brewing. The execution isn't always perfect, but the effort is undeniable. The locker room feels connected. The mistakes don't linger the way they did before. They're learning faster, they're communicating better, and they're starting to trust the process. That's the beginning of something real. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to Patriots Hub and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our New England Patriots. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be one of the most seismic moves of the offseason, whispers are circulating that the Patriots have officially signed edge rusher rival, a player whose name has sparked chatter in every locker room and front office across the league. Sources close to the team insist the deal is done, though neither side has released an official statement. If true, this acquisition could instantly elevate New England's defensive unit from solid to downright intimidating. Rival, known for his relentless motor and uncanny ability to disrupt quarterbacks, has been on the radar of several contenders, but the Patriots appear to have outmaneuvered the competition. Industry insiders suggest the move was prompted by the front office's desire to inject youth, speed, and ferocity into a defensive line that has been criticized for inconsistency in recent campaigns. Analysts are already speculating about how Rival's presence will alter opposing game plans, potentially forcing quarterbacks to think twice before stepping up in the pocket. While the Patriots have always been shrewd in the draft and aggressive in free agency, landing a player of Rival's caliber sends a loud message. The team is serious about reshaping its identity on defense. Sources claim Rival is drawn not just to New England's storied history, but also to the prospect of playing under a defensive coordinator known for schemes that maximize pass rush talent. The buzz around the facility suggests teammates are thrilled, imagining a revamped defensive front capable of pressuring the league's elite quarterbacks on any given Sunday. The timing of the signing also raises eyebrows. With the season fast approaching, rivals integration could prove critical in early matchups, potentially turning the Patriots into an early-season defensive nightmare. Rumors even hint at further defensive reinforcements on the horizon, suggesting this might be just the first wave of a broader strategy to reclaim dominance in the AFC. As always, until official confirmation arrives, fans and pundits alike will be dissecting every social media post and training camp update for signs that the Patriots' defense is about to reach a new level. One thing is certain: if rival is indeed donning the Patriots' colors, the league may soon be facing a revamped, ruthless defensive force that could redefine the team's fortunes. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our New England Patriots, be sure to subscribe to Patriots Hub and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.